Hey, this is Alexa Peterson with the Hitting Vault. I'm going to be doing a swing analysis on Tim Anderson from the White Sox. He's currently leading the MLB in batting average by far with 453 and has hit 3 home runs so far, which is a huge improvement from last year. He hit 240 last year and is just doing phenomenal. So we're going to take a look at his swing. We got a couple different angles here that we're going to go through. First thing I want to talk about, though, is his timing. I feel like in watching his progress from 2016, he's made a big change in how calm and smooth his load is. You're going to notice here, if we look at his front foot right there, you're going to see a small kind of pickup and put back down with his foot. You see that right there? And so a lot of hitters will use that as a timing mechanism. It's important that you don't use that tap where you're like kind of pausing in your launch position when you stride forward. We don't want to really have a long pause there, but this is well in advance, and he uses this for timing. But what's different from his timing, I feel now, as compared to years past, is he just looks more fluid and more relaxed in his timing of just his pre-pitch movement and his stance. All of that looks very calm and smooth with his load. So we're gonna go through all these different angles real quick. I want you to see how smooth he looks with his pickup, his leg pickup, and striding forward. So those are all some good angles for you to kind of see that kind of smooth load that we want to have. We don't want to be rushed with our timing or have a lot of movement. What he's done in the past was have kind of like a lot of quick tapping, like we saw that one kind of smooth tap right here. That looks very controlled. He was a little bit more aggressive with that tapping, and I think that could have thrown off his timing a little bit. So get into his swing. We start to see as he's picking up his front foot, his front shoulder starts working down and in. His barrel starts working more vertical. Pitch is released right about there. His foot is still up in the air. He's starting to go forward, but he's not letting his hands go with him. A lot of hitters will have their hands go with him. He strides forward. He keeps his hands back, kind of pinches that shoulder blade back there to keep that good position going as he goes forward. There's a little bit more close-up view right here of that same home run that he just hit the other night with Grand Slam. Front shoulder starts working down and in. What you'll notice is that his hands are a little bit further away from his body out here. That's fine if hitters do that, but what you're going to see is that he's going to bring his hands actually up and back, kind of a little bit more into a little bit better position. You'll see a lot of hitters with different stances, and their hands will be in different spots, but they pretty much all get to pretty close to the same position right above that back shoulder. So notice his movement of his hands as he starts going forward. He has to bring them in a little bit, otherwise his hands are going to be a little bit too far away from his body. He can't go forward and get to a launch position with them this far from him. So he loads and starts going forward. Hands start coming back. He gets to that good launch position. Front shoulders down and in. You can see a little bit of his number right there. His hips are starting to turn. You can really see right here his hips are opening up, but his hands, he's going forward, but his hands aren't going with him. So you see right here. He's going forward, but his hands, he's kind of pinching that scapula right back there. It's that launch position, front shoulder slightly lower than the back shoulder. Great position there. Torso tilt or hip hinge, whatever you want to call it, is basically his eyes are over his toes. We don't want to be vertical with your spine here. It's going to make you be around the ball versus being able to stay on the plane of the pitch for longer. pitch ended up dropping, moving into the middle of the plate. You'll notice his belt buckle is almost at the pitcher right now, but his bat is still back. It's important to turn those hips and use that core to rotate the hips, and then your barrel then works behind the ball versus your hands, your belt buckle getting to the pitcher at the same time that it gets to contact. We want to have those hips going first and the barrel working behind it. Hits the bottom half of the ball and extends all the way through. You'll notice his back foot works backwards a little bit. It becomes weightless, close to contact, but his back foot moves backwards, and that's totally fine. It's important for hitters, their back foot to become weightless and their belt buckle goes to the pitcher. If their back foot goes forward or back, doesn't really matter. Sometimes hitters do a little bit of both. I think there's a view here, a swing here, where Anderson actually has his foot just rotate right there without going backwards. And it's important to be able to give hitters that freedom to be able to move however their body is supposed to in order to be able to barrel up the pitch. Here's a side view of that home run. And he's a hitter that has a decent amount of weight shift in his load, but I feel like he still stays pretty well stacked with that front shoulder still working down and in. A lot of hitters will shift their weight back and that their knee will be way outside their back foot. That back shoulder will drop. We don't want to have that happen. Goes into his load, barrel's working more vertical. Goes forward into his launch position right when that heel hits. Front shoulder there. Knob down towards the catcher. You can see that torso tilt. Good distance between his feet, a little bit of bend in his front knee. Belt buckle's turning hard towards the pitcher. This front knee is opening up, and this one's turning right here. And his barrel is working on the plane of the pitch early and then through it. Watch his back foot too. If I were to draw a line right here, his back heel wouldn't actually cross it until after the swing. So we don't want to squish the bug and have that back foot just rotate right here and spin out. It actually needs to be becoming weightless and moving forward, moving up, moving forward and back a little bit. Whatever it is, it has to become weightless in order for you to generate the maximum amount of bat speed through the zone. It's a forward angle here. Front shoulder working down and in. His hands are working kind of back as he's going forward. Launch position. Stays in really tight with this pitch. This one's from a lefty who's coming in, cutting in hard to him. Stayed inside of it really well. Keeps that good torso tilt here. And that back elbow stays in tight to his body for him to be able to get that barrel inside. Hit up the middle. Good launch position. You can see a little bit of his number right here showing. Knob down to the catcher. A little bit of bend in the front knee. Definitely fooled on this pitch. I think this is a 2-2 count. He hung with it. You see that back foot flaring out here. Sometimes you got to just be able to get yourself into that good launch position to be able to adjust to different pitches. So you can see here he's just literally just extending out this elbow to help him hang with that pitch that's cutting down hard. Right there, you can see. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you're going to see on pitches like this where you're totally off balance. I mean, he doesn't even finish his swing. His back is still facing, his back is still facing over here. His hips never even really fully opened. They're a little bit towards, to the right of the pitcher a little bit, because that's helping him stay longer through it. And this bottom hand elbow is further from his body, helping him reach out there with this pitch that was falling off the table. Drops in down the right field line. Here's a little bit more of a close-up. Side view here. Good gather. Front shoulder working down in as he goes forward, hands staying back. Great launch position. This position helps him be able to adjust to different speeds, different locations. All of that is a great launch position. Sometimes it's not really pretty, but getting yourself into a good launch position helps you set up to be able to adjust. Front shoulder down and in. Heel hits. Look at how close this elbow is right there to his body to be able to hit this inside, well, middle end pitch. Hit this for a home run as well. Creates that good stretch. Keeping those hands back. Belt buckle to the pitcher. You can see right there his belt buckle is pretty much facing the pitcher, and the bat's not at contact yet. You have to have your hips rotate, and then your barrel works behind the ball. Back foot becomes weightless. Firming up his front knee closer to contact. Got all that one. So overall, he started off really hot this season. Right now, I mean, you can tell he's got some great stuff in his swing that are helping him be successful. And so much of hitting is just being able to be confident in the swing that you have and being able to swing at strikes and watch the balls. I feel like in watching him as a hitter, he's doing a great job at swinging at the strikes, watching the balls, and just doing damage on the pitches that the pitcher has a mistake on, which that is huge for hitters. The elite hitters are the ones that are going to be doing damage in those, hunting those pitches that are just a little bit middle in, a little bit middle out, and swinging hard at those. And then being able to be in a good launch position is going to help you be able to adjust to those ones where they're falling off the table or cutting hard in, cutting hard out. So overall, I'm excited to see if he's able to keep up that confidence and this hot streak that he has going on for the rest of the season.